Hello, welcome to my site. My name is Michelle Emery and I am a psychotherapist and professional life coach here in Portland, Oregon. And I'm making this video just to tell you a little bit about myself, to make it a little bit easier. I get a lot of questions about what brought me into therapy, and my road was very windy, to say the least. But as a child, I noticed that the individuals around me, that my family, it seemed that there was a lot of people that were upset and tired and distracted and very unhappy and just just getting through life. And I wondered why. And I distinctly remember having this thought when I was about 4. And my mother confirms that I used to ask her questions and talk about life, and to the point where I guess I scared some of my daycare providers, because I would talk about life and how I felt that life should work. When I started reading, when I really got into books, the books that I was most curious about were psychic phenomenon and sort of how the mind works. And I read a lot of, I liked fairy tales as well, and dreams and symbolism. And at that time too, I would spend a lot of time in nature. So we had a big cherry tree in our backyard that I would climb up in and just sit there and talk to God, or whoever I thought that God was at the time. My mom was Buddhist, so I was raised in a Buddhist household. I was baptized Catholic, and always felt a deep connection to something bigger than myself. And I have a personal way of defining that. I try to encourage people to celebrate whatever spiritual practice they enjoy or has the most meaning for them. So my curiosity about people really started from the beginning of my life. But like I said, I kind of wove my way around. I was a waitress for a while. I worked with racehorses. In 2002, back up a little bit. I was in college pre-vet, and I got pregnant. So I was a single pregnant young woman, going to veterinary school to work with large animals. When I moved back to Portland, to be closer to family, I didn't really think that was going to work for me. So I went back to the drawing boards to see what was my calling. I did a lot of reading and a lot of reflection, and found that the thing that was most common throughout my entire life was my curiosity about people and the human experience, and what we are actually capable of being, what limits us, who says we can only do so much. And as a single mom, I was struggling, and happened to get in contact with a lovely life coach in Colorado, who worked with me and really, really helped me through some very challenging times, and inspired me when I was feeling quite lost and quite unsure of mine or my beautiful daughter's future. Because of the work that she did with me, and because of how much it helped me, I wanted to do the same for others. So I went and got a certificate in professional life coaching, and this was around 2002. And then I also got a certificate in parent coaching as I was a mom, and thought that that would be practical. But what I found was that when I was trying to move people forward in their lives, when I was trying to help them really actualize their dreams or potentials, I found that I didn't have all the tools I needed in order to help them get through the really deep things that are holding them back. And so I went back to school and got a master's degree in counseling psychology. And from there have continued to study Jung and depth psychology and dream work. I find that symbolism in dreams and a lot of those things that catch our attention, that we blow off, but there is something to that, because not everybody is attracted to the same thing. Like you might see a flower that catches your eye, and my curiosity is why that flower, why that moment, what is it doing for you? And looking at our lives and interacting in our lives in a more meaningful and curious and attentive way. So now I have this degree. I am a counselor and a coach, and I find that the way that I practice is unique. I can be very directive, and being that I encourage people to set goals, and I encourage people to do the things that they say they really want to do. So for instance, if somebody is struggling to know what they want, a lot of times we are going through our lives, and all of a sudden we feel like something is missing or something doesn't feel right. And so sitting with that and being attentive to it, looking for clues, listening, all of those practices will help one find what their soul is longing for, what their self, the big self, is longing for. And so that is how I work as a therapist. I am also a certified yoga instructor. Although I don't teach very much, I do sometimes recommend poses or breathing exercises to clients. I'm also trained in EMDR, because I found that this process of EMDR, eye movement desensitization and reprocessing, can really help someone move through blocks, keeping them from, really, living their best life. A lot of times, when we are born into a world, when things happen to us, when the world reflects back to us that certain parts of ourselves are unacceptable, those get pushed down into the unconscious. So even if it's a good trait, like, say you're loud and vocal, and then you're told you're bossy and bullying, then you internalize that those traits are not attractive. And so we split off from those traits, but at some point those want to come through. And so I find working through the traumas, the stuck points, with EMDR is also very helpful to release some of the toxic things that keep us stuck. I often recommend books, and so that's about it. That is how I practice as a coach and a counselor, and I feel very blessed to do the work that I do. and to be able to partner with and support individuals on their journeys. It's a true blessing to hold space and to create a safe environment for individuals to really reveal some of the things that we would never reveal to those close to us, because they might misunderstand or might take it as literal. And I think a lot of times the things that we do, the thoughts that we have, the ways that we have jealousies or are envious are just messages from the deep parts of us, asking for something more. When we see something that we're envious of, or someone has something that we wish we had, mostly it's because we can identify that thing and we want to actualize that. We just haven't figured out how. And my hope is that through working with somebody like myself, or there's many other therapists out there, that individuals can find that thing that they desire. So I hope that you find some interesting things on my website, and feel free to reach out if you'd like to book a session, and to find out fees and all of that good stuff. Just continue looking through the website. And I wish you great peace and wellness, and take good care.